Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Lindsay Smith. That's Espo. Espo, how you doing tonight?
I'd be better if I weren't in health and safety protocols, but other than that, I'm good. I didn't just ditch everybody the other night for post game. There were reasons. So
Everyone was like, oh, Espo must have gone too hard at the club for his birthday, out 2 days in a row. What?
I did. I went very hard, got fired, and then rehired myself. So I am here.
You know, we're really good at that. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, you and I are really good at getting fired and then rehired. So is actually all of us. Saul and Gerald are too.
They are. They're very good. I don't know if Gerald's ever coming back at this point, though. I feel like he's just left.
Saul is suspended tonight, so he'll be back maybe on Sunday. We'll see. But I can't help you with Gerald. Haven't heard anything on that front for a minute. But
so I've been gone for like about 48 hours. The last time I did a show was Wednesday at this time. Has anything happened?
No, not really.
Anything at all? Like,
no.
I wasn't on Twitter much or anything. I had a ye old time while I was out for my birthday, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't party like a Kardashian, but I enjoyed myself. So, any news on Chris Paul coming back or anything? No?
No, still day to day, just like he was 3 weeks ago, just like Kellen Olson made the joke on Twitter. You missed that on Twitter. Good jokes about Chris Paul's injury.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nothing like making fun of a man when he's injured and out. He is an all-time steals leader though, so I'm sure he'll bounce back just fine.
All right. Well, we've got the Suns and the Houston Rockets tonight, and this will be the second time these two have faced off this season. Obviously, the Rockets are not doing too hot. They're 5-16 so far on the year. The Suns beat them by 15 the last time they met. Are you concerned of a trap game at all with this one?
No, I mean, they were stuck in Denver for like 4 days. They had to play back-to-back games in Denver, and never a good time for a team. So the Rockets are not good. They've been slightly better as of late, but they are not a good team. Like I mentioned, the losers of 2 in a row in Denver. They've struggled all season long. You look at this, and you've got the Suns, one of the most efficient teams, number 2 in net rating, against Houston, number 28 in net rating. So tonight's game is a simple one to me. I mean, I'm not the smartest of men. We've discussed that, but to me, this seems pretty simple. If the Suns take care of the ball and don't do anything stupid, they should win tonight. So
I agree. I mean, I will say the Rockets were able to get the game that they played earlier this year against the Suns within 5. So I will give them that. At least the Rockets, even though they are bad, they play hard. I'll give them that. So like you said, unless the Suns don't play their game, even half of their game, we should be fine.
I'm sitting here listening to you talk like that and having complete and utter flashbacks to the time where both of us worked for the team. So anytime in that 10-year period where we didn't overlap, I feel like that's how you describe the Suns when you're trying to say nice things when there wasn't anything nice to say. So.
Yeah, thankfully, we are no longer in that dark place. Thankfully, too bad for the Rockets. It's almost like we swapped spots. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Bless their heart. So we know what they're going through. So we won't add insult to injury.
We stole their point guard too. So,
This is true.
By the way, we are live, Amelia, if you're wondering, 6:35. I don't have a newspaper, but I can show you my phone. We are live here.
Yes, for real this time. Really, really live. See, look, I'll show you mine too, like 6:36. We're good. For real this time. Okay, so obviously not a whole lot to talk about with this game, except for the fact the Suns are now down yet another person. So we got confirmation this morning from the Suns that Torrey Craig is officially out for tonight's game. He's been added to that injury report list because he has a right groin strain. And Monty was
Ouch.
telling, I know, right? Thank goodness it wasn't the wrong one though. But
Hey, now.
that's a Gerald joke for you
Right.
guys because I know
Very
you've
much.
missed him for so much. But Monty did say that Torrey Craig's strain happened in the game on Wednesday, and he came in the next day feeling sore and got it checked out. And you know he is bummed to have to miss tonight's game, but Monty said they're hopeful to have him back soon. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever you want to do, that this doesn't become a long, drawn out issue for Torrey Craig because we're already down too many players. Of course, Chris Paul is still on this list, and so is Cam Johnson. And then on the Rockets side, Jae'Sean Tate is out with right ankle soreness.
Chris Paul's having a heel issue. Understandable.
Yes. Bless his heart that I'm really upset about this whole Chris Paul injury issue because we were told he'd be reevaluated this week, basically. That has now basically come to a close. And then I think he was asked about this morning at shoot around, and we're told again he's day to day. And I'm like, when is he going to be able to play? And what else is going on over there? Because
They're now checking him for burns, is what I heard. So they're gonna look at that.
You know, you just got to make sure that your guys are 100% before you put them back out there. You wouldn't want to risk re-injury, right?
Exactly. You would not want to risk that for sure. Look, I don't. The Chris Paul getting back at this point. Take your time. The Suns are 15-6. Devin Booker's playing at an MVP level. They haven't had any issues with, keeping the ball and not turning it over much. They've had great, great assist numbers as well. There's just not a lot that I think you're hurting for at this point. So if you need time to get right and fix things, whatever you need to do, Chris, take care of it. If you need to fly home to LA, go ahead, take care of it. Whatever you need to do.
Yeah, thankfully the Suns have been a well-oiled machine despite all of these injuries. And I know everyone's already asking in the chat, so who's starting in place of Torrey Craig? Well, guess what, guys? Guess what? The homie, Dario Saric, is going to get the start tonight.
How did you dust him off to decide to start him? Like where's look, I wanted to see Jock. If you're gonna experiment and do something crazy, you do it against the Rockets. Let's see if he can play the 4. Let's throw him out there. I would have been happy with Ish Wainwright starting. Give the guy, some love for playing well off the bench, but dusting off Dario Saric, they must really want Houston to take him in an Eric Gordon deal, right? Put on the tinfoil hat. That's got to be why they're starting him, right? Go, look, Dario's still got something in the tank. He starts for us. Just hoping they don't look at anything else that comes up.
I mean, Dario does still have something in the tank, though. He's not completely depleted. Like, yeah, sure, he had to deal with some injuries, and he's older by basketball standards, but Dario's still the homie, and he still contributes in solid ways for this team. So, plus we haven't seen him in a while, so I'm cool with it. I will always be a big fan of Dario Saric, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, actually, I take that back. I am a little bit interested in seeing how much Jock Landale we will see tonight because over the last handful of games, we haven't seen a whole lot of Jock. It's been like 5-7 minute stints here and there each game.
Yeah, I'm guessing that it'll be 4 or 5 minutes like we've seen. It feels like that's just the role that Monty has right now for him, and for whatever reason, we're not quite sure. I still don't buy he just fell out of the rotation. I assume there's something more to it, but eventually I think we'll see bigger minutes from Jock. Maybe it is tonight with a front line that's depleted. If somebody gets in foul trouble, you're going to have to. But I don't know. I don't feel it tonight if for some reason, which means he'll probably play 35 minutes.
Well, that's all we can hope for. The reverse jinx from Espo. Hopefully tonight it comes to fruition and we'll get to see a little bit more of Jock Landale. What are we wearing tonight, Espo? What's the jersey that we're rocking?
Yeah, I think the hat and the logo gave it away. We're rocking the City Edition turquoise tonight. The turquoise terrors back in the Footprint Center as the Rockets will wear their Icon Edition red uniforms. So color against color tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how this looks on television. I'm usually not a fan of when both teams are rocking one of their deeper colors here, and nobody's wearing their white or lighter uniform. But we'll see. We'll see how it looks. But we do get the court, which is always special when we get to see the turquoise city court out there.
I guess I haven't really, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've really paid much attention to when teams have both worn color on their uniforms. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that tonight and see if it messes with my head or anything. Because you're right, usually it is a much lighter and then a darker kind of situation. At least with these colors, you cannot mistake them. They're drastically opposites, basically. So that's a positive.
Certainly will not be mistaking anybody for the other team tonight for sure. But yeah, I just find it slightly distracting. But as we've hammered to death, I am a bit of a nerd about these things, so I'm not sure anybody else will care tonight that they're both wearing colored uniforms. So
I'll report back post game. I'll let you know if I can remember that. All right. So now that you guys have all the information about tonight's game, Rockets, injury report, who's starting, all that kind of shenanigans, Espo, who do you got winning and by how much?
I'm taking the Suns, and I'm taking the Suns big. I got them by 22 tonight. They've won by an average of, I believe, 13 and a half points over the last year and a half against the Rockets. I just feel like this is one of those nights that the Suns just take care of business and don't leave any doubt whatsoever.
I can see that. I also see a scenario where the Suns are up big heading into the fourth quarter and they just empty the bench and pull all the starters and the people who start now who were on the bench and just let the rest of the guys get some run, get some playing time. And then the Rockets are able to kind of close that gap a little bit. But the Suns still win substantially. So I got them by 13. Saul has them by 10. And then Gerald is a DNP.
Look, what I mean, how sick is Gerald? I mean, I can text, "Hey, Suns by 3," even when I'm in health and safety protocols. So I'm gonna get on him. I'm gonna send him a note before next game if he's not back and say, "Hey, I need to see you guessing randomly at what this score will be."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, Gerald. You couldn't drop like 6, 17,
Heck,
1?
just smack your hand on the keyboard and
And
just
see what
whatever
happens.
number happens. I mean, just participate, dude.
I know, but we're just giving him a hard time. Gerald is actually legitimately sick. So yeah. You know who will replace Gerald? The chat. The chat will replace Gerald. Charles has Suns by 4. Jose has Suns plus 18. Isaiah has Suns by 200. And Hello has them by 11. Not too bad. I like those odds. I'll take Isaiah Suns by 200 every day. But what does Vegas think about tonight's game?
Vegas has them as an 11.5 home favorite tonight against the Rockets. Ironically enough, the first time that they played in October, the Suns were a 12.5 point favorite. But no, tonight they are 11.5 points. Apparently, when you're down to your third or arguably your fourth string power forward, apparently that's not a good thing. So,
yeah, I guess that's worthy of knocking off an entire point, or maybe they're just trying to be like, hey, let's make a little bit of money. You guys should put some down on the Rockets so that we can steal your coins.
maybe.
I'm just kidding.
What do you think this is? Like Mario? Like steal your
Mhm.
coins? Like, okay,
Yeah.
Bowser.
I feel like, listen, low key, Team Bowser.
Yeah, we
I
knew
mean, is that a surprise, really? At
No,
any
not at
like, is that
all.
really a surprise? I
No,
always
not
play
in the
with
least.
Bowser or Wario when I play Mario Kart, like the go-kart racing.
Yeah,
I always play with
we
the two
know
of
what
those.
Mario Kart is, Lindsay. Come on.
Yeah, well, just had to double check. I know.
You know
Well,
that go-karting game with the Mario characters
like
that
that super
ride
popular
on said
game that
go-kart?
everyone, especially who grew up like 80s, 90s, early 2000s, all definitely knew about from their childhood. That one.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm right there with you. So.
What are you betting on the DraftKings Sportsbook app?
I actually was looking to see if I could get Devin Booker 48 plus points because the highest scoring Suns player ever against the Rockets was in 1969. Point guard Gail Goodrich, who wound up being a Hall of Famer first time with the Lakers, had 47. And I think there's a good chance that Devin Booker could push for that record tonight. Couldn't find it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So I went with the alternate point spread tonight with the Suns favored by 17 at a plus 185.
Okay, not too bad. I've got Mikal Bridges' first field goal. I've been leaning towards DA a lot on that one, but we haven't hit. We haven't seen a DA first field goal in a while. So I figured the odds are a little bit better at a plus 750. So I'm going to put some coins down on Mikal Bridges. But Saul's still riding with his guy DA for the first field goal. He's at a plus 320. Either way, the odds are pretty good for both of those.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. The first field goals, like last year, I was getting Jay and others at like plus 13, plus 1400. It's
Mm-hmm.
dropped a lot this year. They must have looked and went, "Oh, that Esposito character was making a lot of money on us. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen."
I wonder if it just became far more popular last year of a bet to make for all of these games than it had in years past.
I think it's I mean, really, you got a 1 in 10 shot, right? To pick the right guy.
I mean,
So I was
technically.
always shocked that those numbers were so astronomically high. Plus, if you watch a team enough, you kind of understand the sets that they start running. So it was pretty obvious last year when Jay Crowder got on his run that was who they were going to go with. So, that's
Hmm.
I think I understand it from a trying to not lose money standpoint for
Yeah.
DraftKings.
Because I mean, because whenever we get into a minus, if we ever see a first field goal in a minus, then I think we're in trouble as far as that bet goes. As far as like
Yeah.
rarely ever being able to get good odds on that, or either that, or they've got whatever team that they have those as minus odds down to a T, like a science. We'll
Uh,
see.
Eli says minus 20,000 that Luca Ho. If you've
Okay.
been following my Twitter the last day and a half, I have gotten into it quite hard with Mavericks fans. I am not a fan favorite in Dallas. Let's say that. I even had their radio post game host go after me. So
Oh
it's been a
no.
fun little space there. But guess what? Luca ain't an MVP. Deal with it.
I don't know that I don't even think Lakers fans or even like Denver fans. I don't know. You tell me back in the day, like when, like in the 90s, well, I guess social media didn't even exist back then, so you wouldn't be able to know. But like, has there ever been a more angry fan base at each other than Suns and Mavs?
I don't know.
Well, that included Suns, I guess.
Suns and Nuggets was pretty brutal there for a while. But if you watch and if you notice, it's a lot of these fan bases that don't have a whole lot of confidence in what's going on, right?
Mhm.
Dallas has to hang on to oh yeah, well, game seven. Yeah, game seven was aided by COVID and the refs and all sorts of things. It was one game. You didn't make it to the finals. Big whoop-de-doo. You want to act like that's why Devin Booker shouldn't be an MVP this year. But Denver was the same way. They felt very, they were threatened by the Suns because, we've got injuries, we got this, we got that. So it all starts with that, and then Suns fans have had this pent up, frustration for a decade. That now I think that a lot of us, I'll just say myself included on Twitter, have become obnoxious because we know we have a good team and we know how fragile that can be, and we're gonna enjoy it while we can. So
Okay, don't hate me for asking this, but have we become the Nuggets
no,
with the Mavs?
we've become the Laker fans, I think, in certain
Okay,
ways.
okay, because I
And I
mean,
hate to say it, but I also don't give a shit. So I'm gonna take mine while I can get it. If you
Tashi
don't
said,
like it, that's your problem.
Tashi in the chat said, just so we're clear, Mavs fans started this.
This is
If
true.
Mavs, I don't know where it started. I feel like it just it was nothing and then it was a thing. So I don't know exactly where it started, but if Mavs fans started it, well then fair game, I guess.
Hello, coming at me, Espo. You've been that for years before the Suns were good. I was just practicing, so I was ready when the
We were
resurgence
getting
happened.
prepared. We were getting prepared. Well, we do have a few more things to add to our arsenal as far as like arguments go. Devin Booker was named the Western Conference Player of the Month. And in that time, he's averaged a career best 29 points, 5.8 assists, and 5.3 rebounds over the first 21 games of the season, while shooting 48.9% from the field, 37.8% from three-point range, and 87.8% from the free throw line. So that's for the months. It's like October, November, because they usually combine the first 2 months because it's like the end of October. But shout out to Devin. Western
Yep.
Conference Player of the Month is huge.
The player of 6 weeks. He'll be the only guy this year that gets the award for 6 weeks of great performance. So.
Mm-hmm. And it comes on the heels, of course, Deandre Ayton being named the Western Conference Player of the Week, which is pretty cool. And this also hopefully kind of propels the conversation around MVP. I know we've talked a ton about that, but maybe it at least puts some more eyeballs on him, some more positive light, and some respect for him there.
By the way, shout out to my man Kendrick Perkins that just gets it. All right. He was out there defending Devin Booker on NBA Today, saying, hey, why isn't he in this conversation right there with Jason Tatum? The man knows what he's talking about.
And then, of course, after we got the news about Devin, we also got news that Monty Williams was named the Western Conference Coach of the Month. Again, that's for October and November. So we're just collecting awards. We're just collecting accolades right now, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, these are all nice, but if you don't get that Larry O'Brien trophy in the case, or at least the MVP trophy, none of these matter. October,
Yes,
November, great. We'll enjoy it while it's happening, but we got bigger things on the horizon.
agreed, but still, it's a process. It is not, end of April, early May yet. We're not in the playoffs. We still got quite a few months in between. So we're going to continue to play well. We're going to work out the wrinkles. We're going to deal with the injuries, and we're going to fine tune everything so that hopefully come playoffs, knock on wood, everything will be good.
Are you trying to get a job on the coaching staff? Because that sounds like the talk that you give the players. Hey, don't get too high, don't get too low. We're going to keep playing hard. We're going to go out there month in, month out. We don't care what the calendar says. Every game is April, May, and July, right? Or in June right now. Everything, we're going to play like it's playoffs. Bring that intensity. 1, 2, 3 intensity.
No, Espo, it's just that so it was really funny. I was thinking about this yesterday because I admitted that I was a little biased, and everyone was saying a little. Don't you mean a lot? And I was like, well, yeah, technically, towards the Suns. But then I thought about it after the show, and I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense. My whole career, I've worked for teams. And I literally is my job to be biased in a certain way. Like, obviously, not to the point where I'm like talking smack about other people, but you pick and choose your talking points. You pick and choose the things that you highlight. Like, there's certain things you can ask and certain things you cannot ask when you work for a team. Like, yeah, it's kind of ingrained in me at this point.
Lindsay, you merely adopted the bias. I was born in it, molded by it. Sorry, I had to go full Bane there. Like,
Well, and
yeah.
then we've been around players enough. We've heard the cliches enough. They're going to stick eventually.
Oh, look, if you came onto a show called PHNX Suns and you were wondering who we actually enjoy, if you looked at the sets and the things we wear and you didn't realize this is a Suns show, yeah, that's on you, not us. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't help it, okay? It is what it is. At least I'm willing to admit it and own it. There we go. Anything else, Espo, before tonight's game tips off?
go watch at halftime my new tinfoil hat club that just dropped. It is about a former LA Clippers point guard and a star. Probably not what you're thinking, though. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. And don't forget to meet us right back here after the game wraps up. Bye.
bye.